okay, you're saying something that's actually factually inaccurate according to the narrative. Now, let's be real clear. I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird going on with Whirly.
I almost texted you when the Charlie Kirk thing happened because my antennas went up about, they showed the photo of that kid, or the guy that they have, the 22-year-old, whatever. And I was almost gonna be like, dude.
This kid had a rifle with a scope. Now, here's where it gets weird. The first images of this rifle with a scope, I swear to God, it looks like he has a composite stock on it. Like it looks like a modern 30-06 rifle.
In a wild twist, Joe Rogan just threw major shade at the official story behind the Charlie Kirk incident. On his podcast, Rogan flat out admitted he doesn't buy the version that's being pushed out there. He even hinted that there's a lot of weird stuff going on, and it didn't stop there. Rogan pointed out a bunch of strange details that simply don't line up, like this so-called decoy suspect who might be connected to other criminal cases. That's insane. According to Rogan, these sketchy inconsistencies raise serious questions about what really happened, from the alleged shooter's skills to the strange story surrounding the weapon used. And now, things are spiraling even further. New rumors are flying around suggesting that people close to Kirk might have been involved, with whispers about his own wife possibly being tangled up in this wild situation.
First of all, there was that one guy who was the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? He took his pants down. This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombing.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb at another place. And then he did this at this thing. Right after, so somehow or another, this guy has the state of mind that the moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did. Then, ready for this? He gets arrested for child porn right away.
Right after this happened?
Oh, right away. He's in jail for child porn. Why is that? Well, now you can't interview.
This story is spinning out of control fast. Charlie Kirk was shot on September 10th, 2025, during a student Q&A at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, and tragically passed away shortly after from his injuries. After a grueling 33-hour manhunt, police finally arrested 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, slapping him with multiple charges, including aggravated murder and firing a weapon that caused serious injury. At first, the case looked clean-cut, but that illusion cracked fast once Joe Rogan jumped in on his podcast. Rogan straight up hinted that the official story might not match the facts, saying, I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird stuff going on, which instantly blew up the speculation online. Rogan pointed to one bizarre detail in particular, a supposed decoy suspect allegedly tied to other criminal cases, and said this was a major red flag about the investigation's credibility. He also threw shade at the story about the weapon itself. Reports claimed Robinson used a restored World War I era rifle, a detail Rogan flat out found ridiculous. He questioned how an old, dismantled, and rebuilt firearm could be used for such a precise, deadly attack. Frustrated by all these contradictions, Rogan even joked he wished he could investigate the case himself, hinting that a possible cover-up might be brewing. And Rogan isn't the only high-profile voice calling the narrative into question. Candace Owens just dropped her own bombshell, alleging the public's been misled from the jump.
The narrative is that this is his grandfather's rifle from World War I and doesn't have a serial code. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Why? Wait. Why are you using such an old gun? That's the other thing. They said that he took it apart and then put it back together again. Shut the fuck up. Do you know how much time it would take to do that if you were highly skilled?
Over the weekend, she teased that she'd gotten new info on the case, and now she's claiming Tyler Robinson was framed. According to Candace, everything the agencies have told us about the Charlie Kirk assassination was a lie. This case is exploding with twists and shocking accusations. Candace Owens didn't hold back, and her claims only made the internet explode even more. According to her, as she dug deeper into the case, a politician's name suddenly popped up, hinting that this shooting might have been connected to something way bigger than anyone imagined. She also slammed law enforcement's version of events, calling their story about Robinson's motive a straight-up lie meant to twist the public's perception. Owens listed several things that just don't make sense. She questioned how Robinson was apparently ready to turn himself in, yet never once confessed to the shooting. She also said Robinson seemed completely confused when told about the supposed carvings on the bullet, like he had no idea what they were talking about. Even the gun situation sounded off. While reports claim the weapon belonged to Robinson, Owens pointed out he's not even a gun enthusiast, which makes the state's story sound shaky at best. Then came the text message drama. Candace said the messages linked to Robinson didn't even sound like him, noting he doesn't use words like vehicle, a term found in the alleged texts. She also revealed that Tyler Robinson's father never believed his son did it, and that it wasn't him who convinced Tyler to surrender. Instead, she claimed a family friend warned the Robinsons that Tyler had been named the shooter. It was a heads up, not a confession. And to top it all off, Owens dropped another shocking detail. Just a week before his death, Charlie Kirk had reportedly announced a massive internal audit of Turning Point USA. She claimed this audit was aimed at a secretive department within the organization, supposedly investigating where millions of dollars had been disappearing. This whole situation just keeps getting darker and wilder. Candace Owens' shocking claims, mixed with Joe Rogan's bold skepticism, have lit up the internet with a brand new storm of theories. On his podcast, Rogan dug even deeper into the eerie details of Charlie Kirk's assassination, focusing on the bizarre actions of a man who acted as a decoy during the chaos. Rogan described this person as an older man who, right after the shooting, began yelling, "I did it! I did it!" while exposing himself to the crowd, a move so strange and disturbing it left everyone stunned. According to reports, this same man has a criminal record tied to some of the biggest past tragedies, including connections to 9/11 and even the Boston Marathon bombing. While nobody can say for sure how deep his role in those events really was, the fact that he showed up yet again at another high-profile incident has people seriously unsettled. Even more alarming, not long after the Kirk shooting, this man was arrested on charges of possessing illegal child-related content, which effectively shut him down from being questioned any further. Rogan stressed how the timing of that arrest seemed almost too convenient, stopping journalists and investigators from fully digging into his role in the shooting. "The whole thing just doesn't sit right," Rogan remarked, as online sleuths now pore over the man's background, asking how it's even possible for one person to keep surfacing in the shadows of historic tragedies. Was he just an unstable attention seeker, or is there something far bigger lurking behind the scenes? Some are now wondering if this so-called decoy suspect was part of a bigger scheme, one built to throw off investigators and distract the public from what's really going on. This whole decoy angle has quickly become one of the creepiest twists in the entire case. For some people, it proves Rogan's point that the official story is full of holes, while for others, it's just another piece in the massive puzzle surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination. And just when it seemed like the story couldn't get any more tangled, new rumors started spreading online about Charlie Kirk's own wife and her possible role in the events leading up to his death. After Kirk's passing, she stepped in as the new CEO of Turning Point USA, which immediately raised eyebrows and sparked speculation about her ties to powerful political players inside the organization. Several online voices have even claimed that she's got a questionable past involving certain politicians linked to TPUSA, making people wonder if her sudden rise to leadership was truly what Charlie had planned, or if this was all part of something much deeper. Things only got murkier when reports surfaced about an alleged memo signed by Charlie Kirk on September 2nd, just days before he was killed. In that document, Kirk reportedly named Justin Stray as the new COO of Turning Point USA and ordered him to lead the controversial DOGE initiative, a massive internal audit meant to expose inefficiencies, clean up company culture, and trace exactly where TPUSA's huge amounts of funding were disappearing. This case just keeps getting darker by the minute. Critics of the official story are saying it loud and clear. The timing of Charlie Kirk's death, coming right after that memo, is way too suspicious to overlook. If the memo was real, the Doge audit could have blown the lid off major financial secrets inside Turning Point USA, possibly exposing deals that might have embarrassed or even threatened high-level donors and political allies who had a lot to lose. To many conspiracy theorists, this memo is the smoking gun, a sign that Kirk might have been trying to take back control of his empire before his life was cut short. Candace Owens didn't hesitate to pour even more heat on the situation. She's claimed multiple times that Kirk was under extreme political and financial pressure in the weeks leading up to his assassination. In one of her boldest statements yet, Owens alleged that billionaire hedge fund manager Bill Ackman actually threatened Kirk over his stances on Israel and the internal direction of TPUSA. According to her, Kirk refused to bow down or take the money being offered and ended up dead not long after. Ackman, of course, has strongly denied every bit of it, calling the accusations absurd and defamatory, insisting he never blackmailed Kirk and that their interactions were always respectful and professional. Still, Owens' claims have set the internet ablaze, fueling talk that powerful money circles might have played a role in shutting Kirk down before he could expose something huge. And just when people thought the rumors couldn't go further, speculation turned toward Kirk's widow again, with claims that she might have known more about the internal power struggles and those secret audits than she ever admitted. To make things even more dramatic, whispers started spreading online that her emotional behavior at Kirk's funeral didn't seem entirely genuine, setting off another wave of controversy. Clips and photos from Charlie Kirk's funeral started blowing up on social media, and that's when things got even messier. Some users began accusing his widow of faking her tears or putting on an act, calling her grief staged or insincere. There's zero hard evidence for these claims, but it's been enough to supercharge speculation and drag even more attention onto her role after Kirk's assassination. For many, these rumors mark the darkest turn yet in a story already overflowing with unanswered questions. People are now split. Was Charlie's widow unfairly targeted by online sleuths hungry for a villain? Or could there really be more to her involvement in this tragedy than meets the eye? As both Joe Rogan and Candace Owens keep pointing out, the timeline of events surrounding Kirk's shooting is full of glaring inconsistencies that have only deepened public suspicion. Take the alleged shooter, for example. How did he supposedly manage to sneak onto the roof of a heavily monitored building at Utah Valley University without anyone noticing? Why wasn't there visible surveillance or security guarding such a prime vantage point during a high-profile event? According to the official version, the shooter fired from the rooftop and then jumped down to flee. But the few video clips that have surfaced only raise more questions. Some footage shows a person moving away from the roof in a way that doesn't match a panicked escape, while other clips seem to lack the continuity you'd expect from such a dramatic moment. Adding to the chaos is the bizarre behavior of the decoy suspect, who loudly shouted, "I did it," in front of the crowd, before later being arrested on unrelated charges. This strange twist has now fueled a wave of theories, suggesting the public is being misled on purpose as the investigation drags on. Social media has turned into a war zone for shaping public opinion, and it's only getting wilder. Across every platform, users are pulling together leaks, old photos, and archived posts, stitching their own theories out of the chaos. With every strange detail that stacks up, the decoy suspect, the alleged shooter's shady background, the bizarre weapon choice, the suspicious timing of internal memos at TPUSA, more and more people are starting to believe this wasn't random at all, but something intentional. For a growing number of viewers, the Charlie Kirk incident doesn't read like a straightforward act of violence anymore. It's looking more like a tangled web of odd behaviors, shaky narratives, and possible conspiracies. Each inconsistency chips away at the public's trust in what we're being told. Whether it's deliberate or accidental, the story now feels fractured, even fabricated. As new info drips out, one thing's clear. This is no longer just a story about a tragic shooting. It's a story about control, influence, and how narratives are shaped. And until the full truth comes out, people are saying the only smart move is to stay sharp, think critically, and never take any version of events at face value. What's your take on this whole drama? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Dripzine, hit that like button, and share this video so you never miss an update on the latest stories and scandals.